Have you ever felt like your days disappear before you've done anything that truly matters? Imagine waking up, owning your time, and finally focusing on what you care about most. Sound impossible? Let me show you how. Time isn't just money, it's life itself. And yet, we let it slip through our fingers, distracted by endless to-do lists and notifications. In Make Time, Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky reveal a simple framework to take back control of your days. Today, we'll break it all down with personal stories, practical tips, and actionable strategies you can start using immediately. Highlight the 4-step framework. Each day, you're faced with an overwhelming number of tasks, priorities, and distractions vying for your attention. It's easy to feel pulled in 100 directions, only to end the day wondering what you really accomplished. That's where the concept of a daily highlight from Make Time changes everything. Instead of getting lost in the chaos, you choose one thing, just one, that truly matters to you. It could be a task you've been putting off, a goal that excites you, or something as simple as spending uninterrupted time with your family. This single decision acts as your anchor, giving your day clarity and purpose. The power of the daily highlight lies in its simplicity. By focusing on one meaningful activity, you cut through the noise and reclaim control over your time. Think about it. How often do we fill our days with busy work, tackling minor tasks that feel urgent but aren't important? We cross items off our to-do lists but rarely address the bigger, more impactful actions. Highlighting flips that script. It shifts your mindset from "what can I finish today?" to "what will make today feel satisfying and productive?" I remember the first time I consciously applied this principle. It was during a period when I felt completely overwhelmed. My to-do list stretched for miles, and each day felt like a race against the clock. No matter how hard I worked, I never felt like I was making real progress. Then I stumbled across the idea of a daily highlight. The concept was almost too simple to believe. Could focusing on just one thing really make that much of a difference? But I was desperate, so I gave it a shot. That morning, I sat down and asked myself a question. What is the one thing I can do today that will make me feel accomplished? It wasn't about what was most urgent or what others expected from me. It was about what truly mattered to me. I decided my highlight would be finishing a presentation I'd been procrastinating on for weeks. It was a daunting task, but I committed to making it my priority for the day. With my highlight in mind, I planned my day around it. I blocked off 2 hours in the morning, turned off my phone, and set up a workspace free of distractions. At first, it was tough to focus. My mind kept wandering to the other tasks on my list, and I felt the urge to check my email or scroll through social media. But I reminded myself of my intention. This wasn't about finishing everything. It was about accomplishing one meaningful thing. Those 2 hours flew by, and by the end of it, I'd made significant progress on my presentation. For the first time in weeks, I felt a sense of accomplishment. The weight of procrastination had lifted, and I realized that focusing on a single goal had not only made me more productive but also shifted my entire mindset. The rest of the day felt lighter, and I even had the energy to tackle a few smaller tasks that I'd been avoiding. This experience taught me an important lesson. Productivity isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. When you define a highlight for your day, you take control of your time instead of letting it control you. You're no longer reacting to the endless demands of the world around you. Instead, you're acting with purpose, directing your energy toward what truly counts. And here's the best part. Your highlight doesn't have to be monumental. Some days, it might be writing a chapter of a book or preparing for an important meeting. Other days, it might be going for a run or calling a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. The point is to choose something that aligns with your values and brings a sense of fulfillment. One of the reasons the daily highlight works so well is that it forces you to confront your procrastination. When you're clear about what matters most, you can't hide behind busy work or distractions. You have to face the discomfort of doing the work that really matters. This can be challenging, especially if your highlight involves something you've been avoiding. But here's the truth. Procrastination thrives on vagueness. When your priorities are unclear, it's easy to convince yourself that you'll get to it later. Highlighting eliminates that excuse. It brings your focus front and center, making it harder to procrastinate and easier to take action. Another key aspect of this approach is the sense of momentum it creates. Once you complete your highlight, you feel a surge of energy and motivation that carries into the rest of your day. It's a psychological boost that can't be underestimated. You're no longer just going through the motions, you're making progress on what truly matters. This momentum often spills over into other areas of your life, inspiring you to tackle additional tasks with the same focus and determination. To make the most of the daily highlight, it's important to set yourself up for success. Start by choosing a highlight that is both meaningful and achievable. It should be something that challenges you but doesn't feel overwhelming. For example, instead of saying, "I'll finish my entire project today," you might decide, "I'll complete the first draft of my project outline." Breaking it down into smaller, manageable steps increases your chances of success and prevents you from feeling discouraged. Next, create an environment that supports your focus. This might mean finding a quiet space to work, setting specific time blocks for your highlight, or eliminating distractions like notifications and interruptions. Remember, your highlight is your priority. Treat it with the importance it deserves. If you struggle to stay focused, consider using techniques like the Pomodoro method, where you work in short, focused bursts followed by brief breaks. This can help you maintain your energy and stay on track. Finally, reflect on your highlight at the end of the day. Ask yourself, did I accomplish what I set out to do? If not, what got in the way? Reflection isn't about judgment or criticism. It's about learning and improving. Over time, you'll develop a better understanding of what works for you and how to make the most of your time. Incorporating the daily highlight into your routine takes practice, but the rewards are well worth the effort. You'll find yourself feeling more in control, less overwhelmed, and more fulfilled by the work you do. And perhaps most importantly, you'll start to experience what it feels like to truly own your time. Laser, focus your attention. Distractions are the silent thieves of time. Every ping, every buzz, and every momentary glance at your phone adds up, stealing your focus and fragmenting your attention. It's easy to underestimate the impact of these interruptions, but the truth is that even a brief distraction can derail your progress. Studies show that it can take up to 25 minutes to fully regain focus after being interrupted. That's why the concept of lasered focus is so powerful. It's not about working harder or longer. It's about working smarter, channeling your energy into what matters most by eliminating distractions and creating an environment where you can truly focus. Focusing your attention starts with setting clear boundaries. Think about the last time you tried to work on something important but found yourself constantly interrupted. Maybe your phone lit up with notifications, or you kept checking your email just for a second. Before you knew it, an hour had passed, and you hadn't made any real progress. This used to be a huge problem for me. I'd sit down with the best intentions to focus, only to get sucked into a cycle of distractions. It wasn't until I made a conscious effort to set boundaries that things began to change. One of the most transformative steps I took was turning off all non-essential notifications on my phone. It sounds simple, but the impact was profound. I remember the first day I tried it. I had a big project due, and I knew I needed to give it my full attention. So, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, closed all unnecessary tabs on my computer, and told myself I wouldn't check my email until after I'd finished my work session. At first, it felt strange. I was so used to the constant stream of updates that the silence felt almost uncomfortable. But as I settled into my work, I noticed something amazing. I was fully immersed in what I was doing. Without the constant interruptions, my mind was able to stay focused, and I made more progress in 2 hours than I usually did in an entire day. Eliminating distractions isn't just about turning off your phone, no. It's about creating an environment that supports deep focus. For me, that meant finding a dedicated workspace where I could work without interruptions. I cleared off my desk, removed anything that wasn't essential, and made sure the space was quiet and free of clutter. I also started using noise-canceling headphones to block out background noise. These small changes made a huge difference in my ability to concentrate. When you remove the distractions around you, your brain has the space it needs to fully engage with the task at hand. Another key aspect of maintaining laser focus is working in focused sprints. The Pomodoro technique, where you work in short bursts of intense focus followed by brief breaks, has been a game changer for me. I'd set a timer for 25 minutes and commit to working on a single task with no interruptions. Knowing that a break was coming made it easier to resist the urge to check my phone or switch tasks. When the timer went off, I'd take a 5-minute break to stretch, grab a drink, or simply rest my eyes. Then I'd dive back in for another sprint. This method not only helped me stay focused, but also made my work feel more manageable. Breaking it into smaller chunks kept me from feeling overwhelmed and made it easier to maintain my momentum. I'll never forget the moment when these strategies led to a major breakthrough. I was working on a writing project that had been giving me trouble for weeks. Every time I sat down to work on it, I'd get stuck. My thoughts felt scattered, and I couldn't seem to make any real progress. I decided to try something different. I scheduled a 3-hour block of time to work on the project and committed to eliminating all distractions. I turned off my phone, closed my email, and told everyone in the house not to disturb me. Then I set up my workspace, put on my headphones, and started a Pomodoro timer. At first, it was tough. My mind kept wandering, and I felt the urge to check my phone or switch to something easier. But I reminded myself of my goal and pushed through. As the minutes passed, I noticed a shift. My thoughts started to flow more freely, and I found myself getting into a state of deep focus. Ideas that had eluded me for weeks suddenly clicked into place. By the end of the session, I'd not only made significant progress but also solved a problem that had been holding me back. That experience showed me the power of uninterrupted focus. When you give your full attention to something, you unlock a level of creativity and productivity that's impossible to achieve when you're constantly distracted. One of the biggest challenges of maintaining focus is managing external interruptions. It's not always easy to create a distraction-free environment, especially if you're working from home or in a busy office. That's why setting boundaries is so important. Communicate your needs to the people around you. Let them know when you need uninterrupted time to work, and don't be afraid to enforce those boundaries. For example, I started using a "Do Not Disturb" sign on my door during work sessions. It was a small change, but it made a big difference in helping others respect my focus time. Internal distractions can be just as challenging as external ones. Even if your environment is free of interruptions, it's easy to get caught up in your own thoughts or feel tempted to procrastinate. One technique that's helped me is mindfulness. When I notice my mind starting to wander, I take a deep breath and gently bring my attention back to the present moment. It's a simple practice, but it's incredibly effective in helping me stay grounded and focused. Another powerful strategy is prioritizing your highlight before anything else. When you tackle your most important task first thing in the morning, you set the tone for the rest of the day. Your energy and focus are highest in the morning, so it makes sense to use that time for your most meaningful work. This approach also gives you a sense of accomplishment early in the day, which can boost your motivation and help you stay on track. Ultimately, laser focus is about taking control of your attention and directing it where it matters most. It's not always easy, especially in a world full of distractions, but the rewards are worth it. When you eliminate distractions and create an environment that supports deep focus, you unlock your full potential. You become more productive, more creative, and more in tune with your goals. And most importantly, you start to experience the satisfaction that comes from knowing you're making meaningful progress. Energize, build sustainable habits. Energy is the silent engine behind productivity. No matter how meticulously you plan your day or how determined you feel, none of it will matter if your body and mind are running on empty. Think about the days when you've been too tired to think straight. Everything takes longer, small tasks feel overwhelming, and procrastination creeps in like an unwelcome guest. The truth is, productivity doesn't start with your to-do list, it starts with your energy levels. And the key to sustainable energy lies in the habits you build around sleep, diet, and exercise. These aren't just lifestyle choices, they're the foundation of getting things done. Sleep is often the first thing we sacrifice when life gets busy, but it's also the most important. It's tempting to stay up late trying to squeeze in just one more task or binge a few extra episodes of your favorite show, but the price you pay for a poor night's sleep is steep. Sleep isn't just about resting your body, it's about restoring your brain. During sleep, your mind clears out toxins, consolidates memories, and prepares you to focus and think clearly the next day. Without enough sleep, even the simplest decisions feel harder, and your ability to stay on track diminishes. I used to treat sleep as optional, thinking I could make up for it with caffeine and willpower. But after hitting a wall repeatedly, feeling burnt out and unfocused, I made a commitment to prioritize sleep. I started going to bed at the same time every night, cutting out late-night screen time, and making my bedroom a calming space. The difference was immediate. I woke up feeling more refreshed, and my productivity skyrocketed because my mind was clear and ready to tackle the day. Diet is another pillar of sustainable energy. What you eat has a direct impact on your focus, mood, and stamina. I used to grab whatever was convenient, fast food, sugary snacks, or skipping meals entirely, and then wonder why I felt sluggish by midday. The turning point came when I started paying attention to how different foods made me feel. I noticed that when I ate a balanced breakfast, something with protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs, I had steady energy throughout the morning. One of my go-to breakfasts is a simple bowl of oatmeal topped with fresh fruit, nuts, and a drizzle of honey. It's quick, easy, and keeps me full without feeling weighed down. Midday, I'd opt for meals with plenty of vegetables and lean protein, avoiding the afternoon crash that comes with heavy or overly processed foods. Hydration also plays a massive role. Even mild dehydration can make you feel tired and unfocused, so I made it a habit to keep a water bottle with me and sip throughout the day. Exercise is the third piece of the energy puzzle, and it's a game changer for both your body and mind. You don't have to spend hours in the gym to see the benefits. Just a short walk or a few minutes of stretching can do wonders. I started incorporating a quick morning routine into my day to wake up my body and set the tone for the hours ahead. It goes like this. I begin with 5 minutes of stretching to loosen up any tension from sleep. This includes simple moves like touching my toes, side stretches, and rolling my shoulders. Then I do a 1-minute plank to engage my core and get my blood flowing. Afterward, I drink a glass of water with a splash of lemon to rehydrate and kickstart my metabolism. This routine takes less than 10 minutes, but it leaves me feeling energized and ready to dive into my work. One of the most effective ways to boost energy during the day is to take short, intentional breaks. It might sound counterintuitive when you're trying to be productive, but breaks are essential for maintaining focus and avoiding burnout. When you push yourself to work non-stop, your energy drains faster and your work suffers. I learned this the hard way when I used to grind through hours without stopping, only to find myself staring blankly at my screen, unable to think clearly. Now, I follow the 90-minute rule. Work for 90 minutes of deep focus, then take a 10 to 15-minute break. During these breaks, I'll step outside for a quick walk, do some light stretches, or simply breathe deeply and let my mind relax. These small pauses not only recharge my energy but also improve my creativity and problem-solving skills. Another powerful habit for sustaining energy is managing your stress levels. Chronic stress drains your energy like nothing else, leaving you feeling mentally and physically exhausted. While you can't always control the sources of stress, you can control how you respond to them. One technique that's helped me is mindfulness. I take 5 minutes each day to sit quietly, close my eyes, and focus on my breath. When my mind starts to wander, I gently bring it back to the present moment. This practice helps me stay grounded and reduces the mental clutter that comes with stress. Pairing mindfulness with physical activity, like yoga or Tai Chi, can amplify the benefits, calming both your body and mind. Creating a sustainable energy routine isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Start small and build habits that fit your lifestyle. If you're not used to exercising, try a 5-minute walk each day and gradually increase the time as it becomes a natural part of your routine. If your diet needs improvement, focus on one meal at a time. Swap sugary snacks for a handful of nuts or replace a heavy dinner with something lighter and nutrient-packed. These small changes may seem insignificant at first, but over time, they add up to a massive improvement in your overall energy levels. Another thing to remember is the importance of listening to your body. Pay attention to how you feel after a meal, a workout, or a late night. Your body is constantly giving you feedback, and when you learn to listen to it, you can make better choices to support your energy and productivity. For example, I noticed that I felt more alert and focused after eating whole foods compared to processed snacks. I also realized that my energy dipped significantly in the afternoons if I skipped my morning walk. By tuning into these patterns, I was able to adjust my habits and create a routine that worked for me. At the end of the day, building sustainable energy habits isn't just about boosting productivity, it's about taking care of yourself so you can show up fully for the things that matter most. When you prioritize sleep, fuel your body with nourishing foods, and make time for movement, you're not just increasing your output, you're creating a foundation for a healthier, more balanced life. Reflect, improve your system. Reflection is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth, yet it's often overlooked in the pursuit of productivity. We're so focused on moving forward, ticking off tasks, chasing goals, staying busy, that we rarely stop to ask ourselves, is this working? Reflection isn't about pausing to dwell on mistakes or overthink decisions. It's about looking back with intention and asking, what can I do better tomorrow? It's a system of continuous improvement, a way to recalibrate and refine how you approach your day-to-day life. Without it, you're running on autopilot, potentially repeating the same mistakes and missing opportunities to grow. When I first started incorporating reflection into my routine, I kept it simple. Every evening, I would take 5 minutes to jot down 3 questions. What went well today? What didn't go as planned? What can I do differently tomorrow? At first, this felt like just another task to check off my list, but it quickly became one of the most valuable parts of my day. By answering these questions honestly, I began to notice patterns, things that consistently boosted my productivity and habits that were holding me back. For instance, I realized that on the days I scheduled my hardest tasks for the morning, I felt more accomplished and less stressed by evening. On the flip side, I noticed that when I spent too much time on my phone first thing in the morning, my focus was scattered, and I wasted hours trying to regain momentum. These insights didn't just happen, they were uncovered through reflection. One of the most transformative reflection exercises I've used is the weekly review. At the end of each week, I set aside 20 to 30 minutes to dive deeper into how the week went as a whole. I start by reviewing my calendar and task list to see what I accomplished. Then, I ask myself a series of questions. What were my biggest wins? What challenges did I face? Were there any goals or tasks I didn't complete, and why? How did I spend my time, and did it align with my priorities? This exercise isn't about criticizing myself for what didn't go perfectly, it's about learning from it. For example, during one review, I noticed that I spent a lot of time on low-priority tasks that could have been delegated or postponed. Recognizing this allowed me to adjust my focus the following week, ensuring I dedicated more time to what truly mattered. A reflection practice doesn't have to be complex to be effective. One method I've found incredibly helpful is keeping a simple productivity journal. Each day, I write down 1 or 2 highlights, a task or moment that went particularly well, and one thing I could improve on. This habit not only helps me stay mindful of my progress, but also gives me a written record to look back on over time. Patterns emerge when you consistently reflect. You start to see which habits and strategies are working and which ones aren't. This clarity makes it easier to make meaningful changes, whether that's adjusting your morning routine, setting clearer boundaries, or rethinking how you approach certain projects. Sometimes, reflection isn't just about your productivity, it's about your mindset. Are you being too hard on yourself? Are you celebrating your wins, no matter how small? During one particularly stressful period, I noticed that my reflections were overly critical. I was focusing so much on what I didn't get done that I was ignoring all the things I had accomplished. To counter this, I added a gratitude component to my reflection process. Every evening, I would write down 3 things I was grateful for, big or small. This simple shift in focus helped me approach each day with a more positive and balanced perspective. It reminded me that progress isn't just about crossing off tasks, it's about appreciating the journey. Another key aspect of reflection is setting intentions for improvement. Reflection without action is just thinking in circles. Once you've identified what's working and what's not, the next step is to adjust your system. For instance, if you notice that you're consistently procrastinating on certain tasks, ask yourself why. Is the task unclear? Is it too big or overwhelming? Reflection can help you break down these barriers and find solutions. In my case, I realized that I often procrastinated on creative projects because I felt intimidated by the blank page. To address this, I started breaking those projects into smaller steps and setting specific deadlines for each one. This adjustment, rooted in reflection, made a huge difference in my ability to start and finish creative work. One powerful tutorial I've used to refine my focus through reflection involves creating a stop, start, continue list. At the end of each week, I divide a page into 3 columns. In the first column, I write down what I want to stop doing, habits or activities that aren't serving me, like checking email too frequently or saying yes to every request. In the second column, I list what I want to start doing, new habits or strategies I want to try, such as batch processing tasks or scheduling more focused work time. In the third column, I note what I want to continue doing, practices that are working well, like my morning routine or setting a daily highlight. This simple exercise helps me approach each new week with clarity and purpose. Reflection is also an opportunity to reconnect with your long-term goals. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind and lose sight of the bigger picture. During my weekly reviews, I often ask myself, are my actions aligning with my values and goals? Am I moving closer to where I want to be, or am I just staying busy? These questions have led me to make important changes, like prioritizing projects that align with my career aspirations and letting go of commitments that no longer serve me. Reflection reminds you of your why, the reason you're putting in the effort in the first place, and keeps you grounded in what truly matters. One of the challenges of reflection is being honest with yourself. It's tempting to gloss over mistakes or avoid confronting areas where you fell short. But growth requires vulnerability and self-awareness. During one particularly difficult week, I had to face the fact that I was overcommitting and spreading myself too thin. This wasn't easy to admit, but acknowledging it allowed me to make changes, saying no to non-essential tasks and giving myself permission to focus on fewer, higher-impact priorities. Reflection isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest with yourself and making progress over time. Over the years, I've learned that reflection isn't just a tool for productivity, it's a practice of self-discovery. It helps you understand not only how you work, but also why you work the way you do. It reveals your strengths, your blind spots, and the habits that shape your life. The more you reflect, the more intentional you become about how you spend your time and energy. And that intentionality is what leads to meaningful change. Here's the truth. You'll never find time, you have to make time. When I started applying these principles, I stopped feeling like a hamster on a wheel and began to actually enjoy my days. You can do the same. Reflection is a powerful tool for growth, helping you identify patterns, refine your focus, and align your actions with your goals. By asking intentional questions, practicing daily or weekly reviews, and using simple exercises like stop, start, continue, you can adjust your system, break barriers, and achieve continuous improvement in both productivity and mindset. If you're ready to stop running on autopilot, hit that subscribe button and watch my next video. Let's make time for what really matters together.